Yes.
Something.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Women Crushing It Wednesday. You see, I got my girls Nika and Esmeralda and Gayle this evening. We're so happy to have you, Gayle. Thank you so much for joining us. And then,
Thank
if you see
you.
a guy on the panel, it's okay. It's only my firstborn child. And he just has a message about something that he's doing now. And I'm going to give him the mic.
All right, and let me
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Chris Jones. As she said.
Oh, we
can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
So I'll take over because we can't hear him. So unfortunately, the title boxing gyms.
Well, let me see if it's maybe it's because I was. It's because I was sharing that. Oh no,
okay,
it wasn't. So. It wasn't because of that.
It's okay. It's okay. We can't hear you, Chris, but I'll take over.
He's not.
I know that's not like me. That's not my personality, but I'm going to do it anyway. So unfortunately, the title boxing gyms have shut down all over DFW area. And so the Mayweather gyms are taking over. And there's a launch party in McKinney, and it's going to happen this Saturday. My son is the manager there. And so they're looking to sign up members. They're going to have some prizes. They're going to have some great things going on. And so I hope that anybody that's in the DFW area can definitely show up. One of our regular guests, Chicken, is on here at times, and she also works at one of these Mayweather boxing gyms in Cedar Hill. So they're starting to pick up. They're going to be everywhere. So if you want that pro boxing feel, amateur boxing feel, this is the place to go. Go see my son, Christopher Jones. Hopefully you'll go on the 15th. I will be there before the fights, but I will be there. And I thank you all for listening and showing up. And Chris, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to your audio, but your mom took over. And I appreciate you coming on and telling us about the gym. Mwah, love you. Here's my grandkids.
He's here in spirit.
Yes, he's here in spirit. Absolutely. Okay, so now moving on. Ladies. Yes. First of all, how's everybody doing? Nika, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. It's Women Crushing It Wednesdays. That means it's we're almost at the end of the week as well. So 2 more days will work for me.
I'm gonna get to you, Gayle. I'm gonna get to you.
We got that Dodgers rivalry going on, you know.
I was just say,
on for years. Here we are.
This evening.
That game's going on over there in the background. We're trying to focus, but it's all in good fun, like sports should be.
Absolutely, Esme. How are you feeling this evening? You're smiling.
HLD, you crazy. I'm feeling good. I'm very happy we won yesterday, so I'm hoping we win again today because it's really hard to where LA had in San Diego. So I had to do it just
yeah.
We're going to give it to you. Listen, we gave you a little bit of a scare today, though, but we'll see what happens. You know what? I do not deny the talent on the Dodger team, but we're a little scrappy bunch down here. And you know what? Even if we lose the series, we still live in San Diego.
Okay. We're gonna. You know what? At the end of the season, we're gonna get back on the show. We're gonna talk about this. Absolutely gonna talk. About
yes, we are. Good luck to all.
Good luck to all. But you know what? First of all, we got to get to the ladies. This is Women Crushing It Wednesdays. We crush it not only on Wednesdays, every day, but there has been some smoke, some beef on Twitter. We had a face-off today, and let me tell you what, I am more excited than I was last month. So, Gayle, you're our guest tonight, and I want to start with you. What do you think about everything that's going online right now?
I could not be happier after years and years of waiting for women to get their chance at truly the professional level. You know, it's been a long time since the days of Christy Martin and Ann Wolfe.
Yes.
And we are finally back. And even better, it's not just there's a handful of competitive women, there are dozens and dozens of competitive women. And I give a lot of the credit to the exposure through the Olympic Games starting in 2012. We're 10 years later and we're seeing the results. We're seeing the platform pay off with real stars, really successful athletes. And this year has been a breakthrough. And things tend to become a critical mass. They all sort of burst in together. The weight helps propel everyone along. And you had Taylor Serrano. Look, Michaela Mayer's been getting a huge push from Top Rank, and obviously Claressa Shields. And credit to the UK boxing fans. They support their women's boxers, which has set up this amazing event. This weekend, all women's card with Shields versus Savannah Marshall grudge match at the top. And I can't wait. It's Women Crushing It week, not Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely.
And the ladies are doing their part to promote the fight, get everyone riled up, and I love it. The more trash talk, the better. Hey, the men do it. We're just as good at it.
If not better.
I know.
We pull out the nails, the claws. I don't know.
I know I'll be talking my shit, so.
Let's talk
I was going to say.
Seriously. And it cracks me up. Male boxing fans who love it when, chairs get thrown and guys throw punches at each other say, oh, no, oh, my God, no, the women are talking shit against each other. Oh, for God's sake, man. We can handle it. You can handle it. Enjoy it. It's all part of the entertainment package.
Absolutely. Nika, how are you feeling this week? Like, you see all the back and forth, and there's been some crazy talk. How ignited are you? I know I am.
I'm still excited for this fight. But I feel like Mayer and Baumgartner have become the main event for me. Like, they totally took over this, the card, in my opinion. I feel like, I guess, the Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall, like, I guess the trash talking really only happens when Claressa kind of starts it. So the promotion on their end kind of has flopped a little, in my opinion. So it's really, if you look online on social media, it's really Mayer and Baumgartner that's being talked about. Like, that's the feud and the fight that everybody wants to see. So that's definitely going to be the fight of the night. And, so I'm excited because I do love the shit talking. But that's why they have me like.
Do you?
For this fight. I love
But do you?
That's so hard to tell.
I know, right?
I just learned something new.
Yeah, right? For all of you that don't know, I love shit talking. So yeah.
Esme, are you there with Gayle and Nika? Do you feel the same way? Is this like another level this week?
It is, and I feel like sometimes the women can get a little tougher on it at the pressers. I feel like they have a bit more aggression in the sense, like, I will see one of them punch the other.
Yeah, you're waiting for it. Yeah,
women are more, stronger and emotional, and so we express ourselves a lot more. So I think in the pressers, it definitely makes it for a good card. I feel like it just should have been main event, but it's gonna completely overpower Claressa. I know that for sure.
Yeah. It's I know that whenever we had Michaela on the show, she was like, a lot of people were saying, you should be the main event, you should this and that. She's like, you know what? The ego was not involved. I was so happy that there was going to be an all-woman card and that I had the opportunity to be on it, which to me, that speaks volumes. That's very humble. And she could have said, I should be the main event. But, Claressa's her girl, too. They came up in USA Boxing together, and they have each other's backs. But I want to know y'all's thoughts, and I'll start with you, Gayle. Christina Poncher doing the play-by-play. Is there anybody else that could have done it to seal this amazing night of boxing, all women boxing. What are your thoughts on that, Gayle?
That is the cherry on top of the Sunday on Saturday. And she has so earned it. You know, a lot of the fans have never heard her. She's done play-by-play on the international feed, on the, pre-broadcast streaming feeds, and you're in for a real treat to hear her. She is knowledgeable, professional, keeps things rolling, doesn't get in the way of the action. She knows her shit. And who's going to do the color commentating with her? Is it Bernardo? Is it Jamel Herring? She's been working with Jamel Herring lately.
Yes,
they've been a fun pair. But I love the opportunity she's being given to step up in front of an international audience, including the United States this time. And I predict she'll come away a big winner that night too.
Oh, for sure. For sure. What about you, Esme? What are your thoughts on that when you heard that?
Oh man, I love her. And I mean, there's no one else who could do it except for her. I think I love how she commentates everything. She's not biased. She literally gives it the way she's seeing it. And I love that she never down talks one or the other fighter. And she's so respectable in the game. And I think she's a huge step for all of us in women boxing. But you know what I do wish though? It's an all-female card, right?
Yes.
But I wish we could go a step further and have it, female photographers, female coaches, women. Like, I wish eventually we get there to where when we say all women's card, it's everybody in production and the workforce. Like, there's just that many women working in boxing.
Yeah, at least maybe a female cut person or a second, because
I know one.
Coach Al's her coach or whatever.
Oh, you think you know where to find one?
Well, maybe. Just put it out there. No.
But we are seeing more female referees in men's fights and
absolutely.
Fights, I really like, and there are some, next gen younger women coming up the ranks of the referee ranks. They're getting some of the bigger profile fights. And what a lot of people don't know is, there are cards all around the world every day of the week, every weekend. Many of them not televised, or you've got to be a complete degenerate to know where the streams are. You'd be surprised to see how many women are working in this industry.
Absolutely.
And it's only a matter of time before they step up from the general ranks and the general cards up to the ones that are much higher profile in the United States.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
And like everything else, they've got to be twice as good as what they're doing to get a
that's
shot.
what it is. That's what it
are
is.
Good. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to touch on that before I go to Nika, but it's like, yes. So we as women, we have to be twice as good, number one, so that the men can accept and invite us on. But then again, we also have these women who, we're all about women, but that do not put the hand out to lift you up and raise you up, So we as women have to do better. We really do. There's enough room, I've said this before, at the table for us all to eat. And if we're going to take a stand, we don't just take a stand for ourselves. We take a stand for everybody.
That's why I really like seeing Clarissa and Michaela, who have been teammates in the amateur ranks, not getting too wound up about who's the main event, who's the co-main.
Right.
Good fights are good fights. They're sharing the stage.
Absolutely. And
they're going to talk up all of the fights on the card, all the way down to the prelims. And absolutely, the spotlight has plenty of room to shine on everybody.
Absolutely. Nika, when you heard that Christina was going to do the play-by-play, what did you think about that?
I thought that was great. I thought she was going to do it last time, to be honest, before it got rescheduled. And I thought that she was going to do it with Sinisa. But this go around, since Sinisa, she has a fight scheduled next month, so she won't be flying out there. So I think that kind of ruined the chance of her and Christina doing the commentary together. But that would have been awesome. I feel like we only have maybe two female commentators. Who else besides Christina does commentary I know for maybe the Zone.
On the Zone, Jessica
DAZN.
has been doing outstanding job over on their podcast, but they're probably not going to share her this weekend. You do have several British female broadcasters, so whether or not they're joining in, they may be taking over the broadcast call on their own networks and streaming channels. But we'll share the stage with a few men if necessary, and if that helps broaden the audience base, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But you see, look at HLE. He goes, "Estas mujeres nunca están contentas." All women's card, and it's not good enough. Like we need a little bit more. Like
we're allowed to want more.
Translation: he's like, women's are never satisfied. It always wants
something. We've wedged the door open, and we're now like, get that damn thing open all the way. It doesn't hurt to ask. Come on.
Well, and I have a question for all of y'all. Y'all can go whenever. It's like, are y'all mad at the fact that it's across the pond, or is it okay? Like, does it really matter where it's at as long as it's happening? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not mad that it's over there because not for nothing, UK has great fans. So they make when they air fights, they're massive crowds, and it just makes more of an exciting fight. I don't know if the crowd would have been as big here, to be honest. It's just being honest. The UK has big boxing fans, and they come out and they support. So,
for sure.
We're getting it televised. It's not pay-per-view, so that's a plus as well, so we're getting it on ESPN Plus. So, I'm not mad at it. That would have been a nice fight to attend here, but I really do think the crowd would be bigger in the UK. So yeah, exactly. What do you other ladies think?
I'm not mad at it because the fan base in the UK can support it. They support their women's professional fighters in a way that we really don't, except, unfortunately, for MMA. And that fan base does support their women. It's taken some time for boxing to catch up here in the United States, but the more the fans on free TV see these cards where the fans are lit up, the more they see a Taylor Serrano crowd, this card's crowd, getting into it. It's infectious. And they'll say, man, those people are really having a good time. Maybe the next time there's a card with a significant women's fight, I'll go check it out. Exposure is more important at this point. And that's what it took to get it done, to make the balance sheet pencil out. I'm not complaining about it at all. No. Except, like you said, Nyka, it would really have been nice to have been there.
Yeah, absolutely. Esme, are you mad at it? Or are you okay with it?
I'm not mad at it. I'm okay with it. Why shouldn't they get to go, to the UK and fight? That's amazing. And I feel like also, like you said earlier, they're very supportive of the female fighters out there. And the more they know about our female fighters here and support it, the more, like Gayle said, the more exposure. So I think it's a great thing for them.
Someone mentioned Claudia Trejos. Yes, she is very amazing. She is absolutely a voice for women, and she does great commentating. That's
but we only have less than a handful of female commentators.
Less than a handful. Yeah, literally. We
really do. We're building the base up.
Absolutely, we are. We got to start somewhere, and I'm pleased with it.
I'm sure 4 of us are all available, so
hello.
I'd have to work on my cussing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, if it's streaming, it doesn't matter.
That's true. Absolutely.
I know I would get pulled aside after this. Excuse me, ma'am.
That's okay. But
don't think we'll be having you back. You said too many cuss words.
No, it's all good. I want to touch on something that for me kind of like raised my back, just a little bit. So Baumgartner said to Michaela during the face-off, I didn't have all the income or resources. And that really struck a nerve with me because for me, like, I know where she came from. I know what she's been through, and everything that everyone she had to fight in the amateurs all over the world to get to where she's at. So I'll go last, but whoever wants to go first, what did y'all think about that comment?
I'm just gonna be honest. I felt like she said that to Mayor because she's white. So I'm just being honest, and I feel like she's just assumed that she's privileged. So, and that's not the case. Mayor's been through just as much struggles and hardships as her, or maybe even more. But just I felt, in my opinion, that's kind of what it came off as. It's like she said that because she's white, so she's assumed that she's privileged, so she had it easy. But if you knowing her personally and what she's been through, that's not the case. So, I thought that was like in poor taste. So,
Absolutely. Gayle, ask me who wants to go next.
She's doing whatever she can to get Michaela riled up because it's in Alicia's best interest to turn the fight Saturday into a brawl. She wants to bang because that's where she's got the advantage. So the more she can try to get in Michaela's head, the better for her. Michaela's too smart for that. And she said so multiple times. Listen, I get it. I know what her game is. She's talking shit about me. She wants me to get all fired up. Not going to happen. So, good try, Alicia. Do what you need to do. But we'll find out how effective these remarks were on Saturday. And I don't think they're going to pay off for you.
Absolutely. Esme, what did you think whenever you heard that?
What's that word these youngsters say nowadays? I think she's like clout chasing.
Yeah.
To get fans who are either tuning in or not too familiar against her already. And I feel like she's trying to do this because she's trying to get some gain from it, but it just pushes me away and away from her. And I just can't. I'm like, the more arrogance I see from her, the more I dislike her. And I think Michaela she spoke so well in return. And she said, like, I'm tired of that narrative. And it's true. She should be tired of it. But
yes.
Baumgartner saying, I'm going to break your nose. To me, it's like, you better do that day if that's how confident you are. So after that, I tune out.
Yeah. No. I get it.
You see nothing but black. You just,
I'm like,
and for me, everybody knows boxing is a poor man's sport. I mean, it really is. And for me, Mayor actually had to fight even harder. First of all, being a woman, and second of all, being Caucasian, because most boxers, and it's I'm not saying it, statistics show that they are dark brown people, and also everybody in boxing, there's a reason. You got to be a little crazy. You got to be a little, you got to have some things going on internally for the most part. And she's been through it. She's been through the ringer. And then I saw that Baumgartner had said, fighting for everyone who's found their way from nothing. Well, she's fighting for Michaela too then.
Yeah.
She actually started from nothing, was her own mother for many years, and had to do that. So
and because Mayor, I think she tweeted it and said, my mom was an alcoholic. Like,
yes.
I hate that she even had to do that because I felt like I wouldn't even explain myself like that. Like, she had to list all the trials and tribulations she went through, like with her mom's alcoholism and all this stuff, leaving her with her father to raise. I hated that she even had to explain herself like that.
Yeah, it is a shame, but it's still something that's deep within her. And I think that she wants people to know, look, I'm not this privileged person. And like I said, people on the inside close to her, they know that. It's a total farce. And everything that she's accomplished during the amateurs, I mean, these young ladies and young men have to fight the best, the number one athletes in the world to get to be on Team USA. And people don't realize that, and Baumgartner wants to discredit that, but she can't. Anybody who really knows, they know This girl has been through it. She fought Hamadouche. People thought she couldn't bang. Hamadouche had what, 90% knockout rate. She went in there. She took some shots. She banged with her a little bit. Then she went back to boxing. She can do it all. She can definitely do it all. So I don't know. I'm just
But I gotta give it to Alicia because I feel like she did piss Mayor off, and that was her intention. Like, she's been doing it so much that this is the first time I've seen Mayor actually be pissed a little, So she got into her head a little bit. So whatever she was set out to do, it kind of worked, because that's the only time I ever seen Mayor lose her cool during this whole back and forth thing. So
yes.
And I do not mind it. I don't mind it. Men do it as part of the sport.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
I don't mind when the women do it. It's part of the sport.
I love the shit talking. I love it. I love it.
I'm all for it. As long as it's, again, within the confines of competition. Hey, if we're gonna enjoy it when the men do it, I'm really not. I'm perplexed when then people say, "Well, I don't really like women doing it." Well, you're watching them hit each other for a living. What's a little trash talk before they start smacking each other around? I mean,
right.
We are perfectly capable, and in some cases, I think more capable, and it's all part of it. And
Absolutely.
The psychological gain is critical. Fights are won and lost in the mind first, long before they step in the ring. And if Alicia sees this as, maybe one of her tools to a possible win, she needs to use it. She is using it. We're talking about it. She's won there already.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And for Baumgartner to be worrying about Michaela Mayer's weight and weight drained because, she wants to move up. She wants to clear out her division, move up, be undisputed. It's so funny because Michaela spoke on that. She does have the best nutritionists in the world, in my opinion, perfecting athletes. They're awesome, amazing. I've seen their athletes eating and drinking before they go get on the scale. They know exactly what they're doing. So that to me was like, that's the least of your worries.
They're working with Clarissa as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're working with Jenny too. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Jenny Fuchs. Yes. So, that's good try, but no, not there. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So something else that Michaela said, I thought it was so funny. Michaela said it was so funny because she said that, Alicia just needs to shut up and thank me. And, I know that was said in the heat of emotion and all the trash talk. But honestly, I mean, really, because I think that she does need to thank her. She does. This fight has elevated her or will elevate her to a different level, in my opinion. And what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, this is a big fight. So, and I feel like Mayer's was doing it because when we had Mayer on here, she said that I think I quoted her. Because I thought it was a clever line. She said, I'm not being a hater. I'm being a champion, is what she said. Yeah. And in regards to her calling out Baumgartner wanting to unify the belts and everything. So, I mean.
Because she wanted to fight Harper first.
Yeah. And then, she beat Harper. So then naturally you call out the person who won, who has the belts now. So she was doing what she's supposed to do. You're calling out the champs. She wasn't backing down. So she said she wanted to take care of everything in this division and then move up to the next division, because once you take care of everything in that division, there's really nothing else for you to do. You're just gonna, so I don't think that she's having issues with weight or anything like that. She's staying in this division until she takes care of the goal that she has set, which is to unify and then move up. So, I mean, if it was the other way around, I would hope that Baumgartner would be calling out Mayer as well. That this is the fights that people want to see. We want to see undisputed fights. So, that's part of boxing.
Absolutely. Gayle, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey, it's all part of the strategy, gamesmanship, and when you have your options in front of you, you need to talk them up. The fact that this fight got made is, we we, even more than the men, need to speak up and state what we want, how we want it, what we're willing to do, press our promoters, press the networks, put these fights together. Some of them have been reluctant. They worry, well, are the men going to tune out? Are we going to lose money? Are we going to be able to sell tickets? And hey, boxing is a business. It's a legitimate concern.
Absolutely.
The more the women, like some of the men, can make themselves into a product, a brand, personality, makes people interested. And that will allow them to get that chance to put on their athletic performance in front of these people who say, well, I'm curious now. Can she back this up? What's it all about? Again, I just sort of laugh thinking about people who find, who are offended by this. If you're not offended by the men doing it, why are you offended by the women doing it? And why are you watching combat sports in the first place? It's
Exactly.
all part of the, entertainment package to me.
Absolutely. Esme, well, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, everyone has valid points, and I agree. It's conquer it and move to the next. And if that's what she wants to do,
Whoever's next in line.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, I don't think she's the type to want to waste time, and she just wants to. She's trying to get there as soon as she can, the way that she knows how, and that's fighting the best, having to change weights if she needs to, and everything else. I do like that she's. I feel like Top Rank does really good with their women, and I'm excited to see Sinisa with her first fight with Top Rank, because I think she's another one that's going to really, really start building her brand.
Yes.
And I'm super excited about that.
Absolutely. Righty Yogi has a comment here. That's why Shields is good for boxing, as many watch her to see if she will be beaten as her fans. Mm-hmm. So with that comment, I want to move on to the main event. We spent 30 minutes on the co-main event, which speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And we'll touch back on it. But the Shields and Marshall fight. So talk to me, ladies. What are your thoughts? What is somebody getting knocked out? What has to happen in this fight for Clarissa to be crowned the GOAT? She crowned herself the GOAT, but for us to crown her the GOAT, what needs to happen? And we'll start with our guest, Gayle. What needs to happen?
Well, if anyone's getting knocked out, it is probably not Marshall. Clarissa is simply not a knockout puncher. And the reason is she's just far more skilled than that. She does not need to get in there, despite her reputation outside the ring for roughhousing. She doesn't need to do that inside the ring. She's far more skilled than Savannah Marshall. And she needs to put on a display of boxing skills to beat Marshall, and she'll crush her. Unfortunately, she needs to do that. She can't just win 6 rounds. Remember, women fight 10-round fights. She can't win 6 rounds. She's going to need to win 8 or 9 in front of the UK fans and judges to get that decision on the cards. I see it a lot in the same way as I did Dimitri Bivol fighting Canelo Alvarez in Los Angeles. Bivol needed to win 9 or 10 rounds, if not more, on the cards to get that decision. That's what he did, and the cards were 115, 113. What? As much as we disagree on Media Row, we were all in agreement. There was no question that the cards shouldn't have even been close.
Great, yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, that's my big concern for Clarissa. She could win and end up on the losing end of the scorecard simply because of the she's on Marshall's turf, the political circumstances. I hope to God they don't fool around with that. But the way she can make sure she wins is she just has to dominate, and she does not need to put herself in harm's way to do it. Marshall does have pop, so it's not in Clarissa's interest to brawl with her. She doesn't need to. Maybe it's not the thrill a minute, banger that the casual fans think they're going to see. I don't really care. She needs to just walk out of there with the win satisfy this, grudge. I mean, I've been saying that long ago. Marshall got her quote, right? She needs to put this to rest and beat her, and I think she will.
Okay. All right. Esme.
But I predicted
What
majority decision on Twitter
majority decision?
and
Okay.
Clarissa came at me over it.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, she spotted it, and it was in a lineup where I was asked, what all the outcomes of the major fights were. So there were, I think, 5 of them. And she said, I wouldn't bet that parlay because she didn't like seeing that majority decision prediction. I'm not predicting that based on her talent. I'm basing it on the boxing circumstances we all know and love to hate, where we get these eye roll cards, crazy outcomes that just don't pass the eye test. That's my only concern for this weekend. But props to Clarissa for being willing to do it to make the fight happen.
Oh, for sure. And on her
Put
turf.
herself at the disadvantage from the opening bell. She does. So we need to remember that.
That's very true. Esme, what does Clarissa have to do if she can do anything on that night for you to consider her the GOAT?
Well, it's not going to change on that night specifically, but I need to see. So I hardly root for Clarissa, but this time I am. And like I always speak about the politics in boxing, I hope she hasn't lost before she's already in there fighting. But if that is the case, I think there is a win-win for Clarissa. I mean, she lost her last, I don't know if it was MMA or UFC fight, right?
Yeah. MMA.
Which one? MMA? Okay, I don't know the difference.
MMA, yeah.
But she lost that one, and it really affected her. And I think that now, after having that loss and how she's kind of gone through this whole training camp and everything, I see her more serious and more like there's a hunger in her eyes. So I feel like she's going to do her best. The win is only going to depend on if she gets robbed or not. But I think it's still a win-win for her because she's really going to outperform and she's really going to look good. And the UK, everyone will see it.
Okay. All right. What about you, Nika? Is she going to be the GOAT if she wins? And how does she have to win to be the GOAT or not?
Well, I'm hoping that she gets a knockout, but like Gayle said, she doesn't really need a knockout because that's not her style of fighting. She's a skilled boxer, so I would love for it to be that way. So then maybe she could shut a lot of people up because not for nothing, like I feel like even if she wins by decision, like the UK fans are still gonna like take away from it. Like they're not gonna give her any respect whatsoever. Like I just look at the comments that are on her social media and
especially UK fans. Yeah.
The UK fans, they're so racist in the comments and like and people only see when she reacts, and that's how
Right.
That's why I kind of like like relate with her sometimes because people probably think, oh, Nika's a bitch, she's always arguing with people online, but they don't see what people say to me and what gets me going. Right. And when I see the comments in there, and I'm just like, I really wish sometimes that she would stay off of social media because then people probably would like her more. But the way she goes off in there, to me, is warranted because I've seen some nasty stuff in those comments. Like they call her a man, like they do disrespectful things. So that's why I personally want her to win with a knockout and in the most nasty way. I really want her to like take this girl into the cameras. I really do.
It's true. And so I'm going to start with you again, Nika. So I have another question. So top of your head, what are 2 things that Clarissa has to do to stay away from the power and win the fight? 2 things.
Well, she can't brawl with her in there. She's got to stick to the game plan that's been keeping her consistently winning all these years. I think she just needs to just stick to a game plan that she's been winning all these fights. Like, don't go in there trying to brawl because this girl does have power, so you don't want to do that. And just stay level-headed because now that this other fight between Mayer and Baumgartner is going on, I feel like they have more of like turmoil and like beef than Marsha and and Clarissa, because before I thought that was like, oh, you know, like this fight needs to happen because Martians and Shields have been going at it for years, but now Mayer and Baumgartner, I'm just like, you know what? Maybe their shit is really not that bad. Like maybe they're just doing it for just to promote the fight, because now I feel like they really don't have a beef. Now I feel like the real beef is Mayer and Baumgartner, and Marshall and Clarissa are just like, I feel for Marshall, she's just trying to avenge the loss that she had in the amateurs or whatever. Like she's really stuck on that. And I saw an ESPN article saying that she feels like if she beats Clarissa, that she doesn't have anything else to do in life. And I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, I'm like, you're really putting that up there. Like you don't want to achieve any more goals after that. You only want to be Clarissa, girl. Like I feel like that, to me, that's a big mistake on her part. But okay.
Yeah, that's not very healthy.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Esme, what does Clarissa have to do? 2 things she has to do to beat Marshall.
I think, like Nika said, she needs to keep her cool. And I think she needs to come with some effective, strategic counters, because that's going to be really depending on how she either controls the fight or doesn't control the fight. So her counters have to be pretty strategic for her to look amazing.
Okay. All right. Gayle, what do you say? 2 things, top of your head.
2 things. She cannot stand in front of her. She needs to keep on the move. Angles, you know, and it's the classic stick and move, you know, fight at the end of her range. She's got the skill. She's got the footwork. Her footwork has greatly improved in the professional ranks. And, you know, she just can't stand still. And she can't move in close. So she needs to establish the distance. You know, in the first round or 2, you know, might feel a little static for us to be watching. But I think that once she settles in, she'll take over. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of nerves for both women. You know, it's big stakes. They're in the main event. This has been a long time coming for both of them. And, you know, once it actually happens and you're feeling it, you know, that's a lot to process. So they need to feel the moment, get over it, and get on with it.
Okay. You know, so my 2 things. So one of them, Gayle, I agree with. She has to stay off the line, you know, with her body, with her head. She can't be directly in front of her. Number 2, I believe also she needs to use her range, her jab reach, her backhand reach, not Marshall's. You know, even if that means you're a little bit closer, because you're going to be touching her and Marshall will be punching beyond your head, over your head, beyond your body. So those are 2 things that I think she needs to establish her range, and she needs not be on the line. And then I think that if she does those 2 things, that it's going to be a smart fight, and the outcome could be in her favor. You know, I really do. But she cannot stand in front of her. Just like, I'm going to go back to the co-main, Michaela's not going to stand in front of Baumgartner. She needs people to stand in front of her. She needs to catch people by surprise. Michaela is very intelligent. She's fought the top athletes, the top boxers in the world. And her competition has been extraordinary. So, yeah, that's those 2 things. I really believe that, you know, is going to be good. I also have to say, like, Michaela was saying that she wasn't sure when she was first asked to be the co-main event that this was going to be an all-female card. I just have to say kudos who decided, hell yeah, all women, because I'm going to dare to say that this could be the hottest, most exciting card of 2022. That's my opinion. What say you, ladies?
It's precedent setting for sure. So there's history involved, and a lot of talent. Now we are talking about rising stars and prospects on a lot of the rest of the card. Look for those diamonds in the rough. You know, look for the next main event fighters coming out of that group. I've got my eye on Caroline Dubois, the younger sister of Daniel Dubois. And I think she's a little bit better of a fighter than her brother is. So she only had 3 pro fights, but she's very talented, very flashy. So keep an eye
That's
out.
There's always a better sibling. If two of them fight,
You're not lying.
there's always
Right? Right. Well, Sebastian Fundora frequently says his sister Gabriella is a way better fighter than he is, and he sincerely means it.
He
Yeah,
spoke
absolutely.
so. It was so beautiful to see him speak of her. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
I wanted to reply to this guy here because I didn't pull that shit out my ass. This is what she said in this story here on ESPN. She said, so I'm gonna pull it up because you always come on in here trolling, like you always do. So that's why I'm glad we got these things here on StreamYard.
Exactly. Thanks to Nika. She's a technical
Okay, so she says that she admits that she may never reach the same heights again, and then also she goes, win or lose, she sees no potential fight to match it. So like she doesn't feel like after this fight she doesn't feel like she's gonna do anything as big anymore. Like to me that's like you're creating a ceiling for yourself that you're not going to you don't have any more goals after this fight. Like
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. Like that's what she said.
Boom. Drop the mic. Boom. Drop the mic. That's right.
Only facts.
Absolutely.
Facts are so inconvenient. You know, facts get in the way when you want to troll somebody.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is the wrong place to come trolling if you don't have facts. Okay, sir.
Right.
You know, some people are starting to talk about Jenny. So I'm just going to say, and then I want y'all to speak on Jenny. So the Olympian Jenny Fuchs, she, southpaw, strong as hell. I've been very blessed to do mitts with Olympians, women's world, men world champs. And let me tell you, that little bitty girl has some power. She has power. She is so technical, so smart, and that girl is going to blow up as well. You know, she's Michaela's best friend. They're 2 peas in a pod. You got to watch their stories. They're freaking hilarious. They need to have their own show, actually. But the girl is definitely going to blow up. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that she had the opportunity to be on this card. And like Michaela said, because now I have a voice and I can say this person, that person, I want them on my card. So kudos to her for looking out for her best friend who is a female and lending a hand and pulling her up. So kudos to that. What are y'all's thoughts on Jenny?
Well, I like her. She's a brawler. So I don't think she's signed with Top Rank yet, but I think if she puts on a big performance on this big stage, they might sign her. So I hope she, goes in there and be the tough cookie she's been. I think I know in her debut on Top Rank, she went in there, she scrapped the hell out of that girl. So maybe she could get a knockout. I don't know what she has to do because I know that she got on this card because of a mayor, because that is her friend. So they probably was like, hey, this is my another Olympian. It was kind of a good thing and another female fighter. So I'm hoping that she gets signed to Top Rank. That'll be the third fighter, a female fighter on there. So maybe they'll start building another, a nice stable over there of female fighters at Top Rank.
Absolutely.
So, but
absolutely. Gayle,
I don't know her opponent, so I didn't really do any research on her, so I don't really know what she's going in there up against. So I just know she's a tough cookie and she's a brawler.
Respect her opponent for signing the contract.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? Jenny's a winner long before she steps in that ring. She has battled a lot of demons in her life, and she's been very open about it, like a lot of women athletes. Finally opened up about what they have to deal with. It's not easy. And it does nothing but help, because every other female athlete who's facing the same things and thinking, I'm the only one, I'm alone, I've got to hide, the challenges, the indignities, the difficulties, you're not in the mainstream of sport. it helps every single other woman out there to hear, oh, here's someone at the top levels who's so skilled, who's struggling the same way I am personally. And again,
Yes.
boxing is such a mental sport. It's even more important. You are putting your life on the line. This is,
Yep.
you know, I mean, respect to all the other women, but they're not throwing punches out there at each other in
Exactly.
and gymnastics and lacrosse. Well, maybe a few elbows. And so good for her. And that has done nothing but toughen her up for what she needs to do in the ring. And I see great things happening for her.
Well, and also just to mention, she was part of the quad that went through COVID. I mean, the things that, I mean, we as coaches, which was bad enough, but for the athletes that had to go through, it was, I mean, a book can be written. It was unfreaking believable. And going through all of that, I mean, the girl is a badass. She is a badass. And everybody who was on that quad, the men, the women, everybody, the past Olympians, the ones that were on Team USA, they're badasses. But she's special. She's absolutely, absolutely special. And if y'all caught the show that she was on, she said, who does she want to fight?
Esparza.
Esparza, yeah.
Bring it.
I'd like to see that.
Bring it.
See that. Now I got a
Yeah,
comment.
LA.
I love it. Brings in Tanya Harding. Let me tell you something. If women's boxing had been as prominent back in Tanya's day, she would have been on figure skates. She would have had gloves on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Someone said, oh, we forgot Jordan Plant. Yeah, she's very good at interviewing too. Speaking of Jordan Plant, I don't know if y'all realize this, but there's like so we have Anthony Durrell and Caleb Plant. And I'm just gonna go around quickly and thoughts, who wins, and are you watching it? So Gayle, we'll start with you because you're our guest.
I'm watching it because, boxing. I'm going to make sure that I've got plenty of caffeine on hand. I don't think it's going to exactly be a thrill a second. And I do think this is built for Plant to resurrect himself a little bit, get back in the mix, look good. If Durrell was 5 years younger, he'd be competitive. But, his last win, that knockout, was a very happy fluke for him. Honestly, he's got a lot of tread on the tires. Plant's fresher. He's had a long break, which I don't think is going to hurt him. And I really, unless it's another miraculous knockout, it really would have to be miraculous for Durrell to win. I think he'll give it an effort, but he's the older, more worn out fighter. Plant should win this. Plant should win this. If not,
He's better.
he's going to have a hard time crawling back
For sure.
level. And if we're lucky, he puts on enough of a show that we see something like Plant versus David Benavidez, and I am all in on that one.
Ooh, okay. Esme, you
And the
watching
winner
that?
gets, you know who.
Wait, Gayle, who do you have if Benavidez and Plant fight?
What happens if they fight?
Who do you have?
Oh, I think Benavidez takes care of business, and we finally get Canelo and David Benavidez. And Canelo has said many times, let all these guys sort themselves out, which I'm actually okay with that. He doesn't.
Yeah,
he's been very blunt about. I don't care who it is. Whoever emerges at the top, gets the prize. That's the way it should work. Earn it. And I do think Benavidez will be the one to rise to the top over all of the other competition currently, at that level of the super middleweight division.
Esme, you watching live, or are you going to watch after, and who wins?
I am going to I'll be working, so I'm just going to have a an AirPod in, listening to the fight.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's a damn pay-per-view. That's the problem. It's a
That's
pay-per-view.
the problem.
Like, really, yeah, you kind of
But
have to have an eye on it. It's you're paying good money for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And everybody else should be
Who's-
done by then. Everyone else's note should be done by then.
yeah, they should.
Because
Is
Haney
it a landslide?
is
Is it
real
a landslide,
early.
Esme?
Yeah.
Is it a landslide? Does Caleb win by landslide, or is Darrell gonna give him some work?
I think right now, mentally, where Caleb Plant is, I'm thinking he might do landslide. I mean, there's so much positivity in his life, and there's so much right now that he's hungry for and that he wants. So I'm really rooting for him because I do think he's gonna outperform. I think he's gonna do really well. And he's gonna be like, yes, like this is it, and he's back on top. But I do think it might be a landslide.
Okay, all right. Nika, you paying for this fight, and who wins?
I'm going to make it an all day boxing event on Saturday. It's a lot of fights, so I'm gonna try to catch all of them. But to be honest, I forgot that Plant and the was actually fighting.
There's some
Like,
honesty.
Yeah, they've really been outshined by the ladies and stuff like that. So I honestly forgot that they were fighting. I'm just being honest. I forgot that they were on the undercard for Wilder. Like, it's crazy, but you know, I'm gonna go with what Gayle said. I feel like Darrell has a lot of wear and tear on his body, and his last fight was kind of like a fluke to me as well. So I don't see him repeating that with Plant. And if he does that, all the stars got to be aligned. Like, and I don't really think that's gonna happen. But I could be wrong. But I just don't see that happening. It might be like a 12-round, dragged out thing, but I feel like Plant will get the better of it. I just feel like he is like the younger, fresher fighter. So Darrell really does have a lot of wear and tear. I watched a lot of his fights, and he does. His last fight, it was really a fluke. Like, he was lucky that he did not have to endure anything in that fight.
True. So that's true. And like Gayle said, I think the layoff for Plant, I mean, I think it might have done him good, like mentally, physically. And Darrell is definitely a tune-up fight, which I think that he deserves after, what he endured. And I definitely have him winning unanimously. And then we get to the main event. Wilder and Helenius. I have my comments. I'll save them for last. We'll start with our guest, Gayle. What are your thoughts on that fight? How's it gonna go?
Loud ass laugh. My laugh is so loud.
I was at all 3 Wilder Fury fights, and both last 2 were ugly for Wilder. But I'm so glad he's back. The heavyweight division is better with him back in it and giving it one last run. I like the attitude I'm seeing from him. He's got more of a lightness about him, an enthusiasm, instead of, this is my job and I'm dragging myself to it. Hey, we've all had jobs like that. No, he's been enthusiastic about promoting the fight. The last media interview that he did with us about a week ago was such a pleasure. He had so much to say. He's really he just simply seems like, refreshed and ready to go. And it is amazing to me how many times he comments that it was seeing the statue dedicated in his honor that renewed his love for the sport. I mean, and a lot of statues, they don't look like the person at all. That statue looks like him. It's amazing. And, I think we're going to see Deontay at absolutely his best light. Helenius is a long-time sparring partner of his. They know each other well. I cannot imagine there is anything Helenius can do, despite what he said when I asked, do you have any tricks up your sleeve? And he said, yeah, we're working on some things. No, I don't think so. I think Deontay will be very prepared for everything he sees. Hellenius is not a guy who moves around, so he's going to be right there in front of Deontay to get hit. And getting hit in sparring is not getting hit in a fight. So Deontay is going to know exactly where to find Robert Hellenius. And my prediction was that I think it will take him a few rounds to settle in and settle down. So I'm calling it for a 6th round knockout. Deontay will be back. The Bronze Bomber will be back.
Okay. All right. Esme, what are your thoughts on him fighting his sparring partner, longtime sparring partner?
I think Gayle
Will
covered
it be a knockout? Will it be a knockout?
I think he's gonna do a KO. I think between 6 and 9. I think he's gonna start finding his momentum, finding that momentum, and by the 9th, he's gonna be all in. So between there, I think there will be a KO. But I'm glad to see him be back and be in love with the sport again. I think it was Tyson Fury believes that Deontay Wilder will knock out Robert Hellenius. So, I mean, that's nice for somebody like him to say.
Yeah. Okay. Nika, what are your thoughts? Is it going to be a KO?
Yeah, it's gonna be a KO. I'm glad that he's back to boxing because not for nothing. I feel like he's exciting for the sport. I've always enjoyed the build-ups for fights with him, and I'm okay with him. This is a tune-up fight for him, really. He gave us 3 fights with Fury. He can take a fight like this. So, but I'm a little upset that this is a pay-per-view fight because $75.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm upset about this pay-per-view.
If we had Plant Benavides as the co-main on this card, oh my God, hell yeah, every dollar. But yeah, the
I'm not excited about this being pay-per-view event. Like, I really feel like they should have gave this to some Showtime or something on TV. Like, nah.
But we're all gonna do what we gotta do. And the cards from Australia and Great Britain will be long over by then. So, hey, we'll be watching.
It's a lot of boxing that day.
We talked about boxing being a sport. It has not always, LOL, been the cleanest sport. Okay, so Luis Reyes had a very valid point. He said Hellenius with a dive, maybe. So I believe that there will not be a KO. And I'm going to tell you why.
Really?
Because first of all, they've been sparring partners. He knows, what Wilder's right hand is. He knows that is his knockout punch. So do I think that it will go all rounds? No, I don't. Do I think that maybe Hellenius will take a dive? I don't want to say a dive. I'm just going to say maybe there's an understanding. And he doesn't want to get knocked out. Like, who does? Like, come on. So I believe that it's going to be a TKO, only because of that. But those are my thoughts. And do I want to pay for it? No.
This is Nick J said, gotta do. I think everybody knows what that means.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. And then, last but not least, we have a rematch with Kambosos Haney. And we'll start with our guest. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Round 13, ding ding. I don't think we're going to see anything different than we saw in the first fight. If anything, Haney, I believe, will be even sharper. I mean, let's face it, everybody. The only reason we're seeing this fight is it was stipulated in the contract for Kambosos to get a rematch.
Very smart.
The only way Haney got this fight in the first place was to agree to both fights. So he's fulfilling his obligation. Good for him. He's done it without complaining, squawking. He's done everything he needs to do. The weekend of the Canelo Triple G trilogy fight, he did some media interviews. He's been very accessible. He's going to go over there. I mean, he probably feels like he's been living in Australia this year. And he'll attend to business. I don't think it'll be tough for him. I just can't see Kambosos finding anything new to even wedged the door open against Haney. So
Well, and I wonder if
don't
Centeno
expect
is still in his
don't
corner.
expect a thriller, folks. Don't expect a thriller. And make a note that they're in a much smaller venue than they were for the first
Yeah.
fight. So even
And
the Australian promoters understand.
Is Centeno training him? Like some people are saying he's still in Florida. Like so, I'm curious. Is he still training him? Will he be in the corner? Who's going to be there? So that's something else too. Like mentally, that's going to be not good. Nika, Esme, what are y'all thoughts on this?
It's not gonna be any different either. This is just, you know, like Gail said, this was contracted and nothing. I'm not mad at Cambosis for taking a couple of how many millions? Like, you know, I mean, because he didn't get like knocked out or anything like that. So he's probably like, you know what, I could do this again. Let me get that paycheck. You know, I would do it too. I would take the rematch and do it again. And he's probably just gonna get jabbed over again like he did last time. And there's no he's been so quiet this go round. It's the funniest thing ever because he was the biggest trash talker on the face of this earth. This time around, I'm like, damn, is his Twitter get suspended or something? Like, where he been? He's been so quiet, and you know, I don't know.
He's the Australian version of Where's Waldo? It's like,
yeah, it's like I thought his social media was all shut down because I didn't hear peep from him. So,
right. Remember all that squawking he did after
they made him eat his words. But you know,
before,
I'm not mad at him for getting his money. So, you know,
I'm not either. Yeah. You know, he was smart.
And they're not charging us pay-per-view for this fight neither. So
yeah,
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Absolutely. Esme, what are your thoughts on this fight? Is it going to be are we just playing it back, running it back like the first one, or does it end in a different fashion?
I think it's the same. It's going to be like a rerun. And I mean, I think this is mainly just business. It's like, okay, we got to do this. It's business. Get it over with and done deal. But I don't think the outcome will be any different.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I agree with everybody's points and everybody's comments for sure. And I just want to say I am so happy that you ladies came together and joined us tonight. Gayle, thank you for being our guest. We're going to go around the panel. Final words. Yes. Anything you want to say, Gayle, the floor is yours.
You know,
go Dodgers.
It was tied the last I checked. It was tied. Yeah. We're both watching we're gonna turn on the game and you all know it.
Like,
you all know
what
time you're watching this. So it's a long day of boxing. You know, support one of those broadcasts, tune it in. You know, let's make boxing, a viable sport. Let's keep it in front of the public. These are the kind of cards. There's a little something for everyone this weekend. There really is. And it is the last big fight weekend of the year. You know, we need to face it. This is the last big round of fights we're going to see. Rumors aside, there's nothing else on the calendar right this minute. So give them a look. Maybe you don't buy the pay-per-view. Fine. Tune in ESPN and check things out. And truly, give the women a look. Maybe you are new to this.
Yeah.
Watch a little bit of it. Get some exposure to the women's game. Look at how the crowd's all lit up. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised if you are new to women's boxing to give it a look. Listen, it's taken a while for women's professional basketball, women's professional soccer, before that tennis, to get their due. But they're drawing fans like never before, and I predict the same thing's going to happen for women's boxing. And just like in those other sports, it's freshening up the game for both the men and the women. A lot of people are tired of some of the big salaries and attitudes in men's professional sports leagues. And the women's approach, giving people, something new and fun to look at. They approach it with a lot more grace and a lot more enthusiasm. They are rarely in it just for a paycheck, and you can tell the difference. So whatever you watch something this weekend and enjoy the fights.
Absolutely. And where can people find you on social media?
So
everywhere.
on social, on that social thing, I am PR Pro San Diego. That's me. PR Pro, and you can find my work at nyfights.com. nyfights.com. I am the West Coast office with the East Coast attitude.
Love it.
Love
Love
it.
it.
Attitude. You know, I
Nika.
love.
Last words, girl. What you got going on?
Well, you know, it's been a good week. Nobody has tried me. I haven't gone off on anybody's. It's a
Only
good week.
Wednesday.
It's good. It's only Wednesday.
Only
It's only
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Only Wednesday as we record this, though.
They're coming now. They're coming now.
And I'm ready. And the gun is loaded. So try it if you want. So yeah, I'm just excited for the fights this weekend because, you know, we were all worked up literally a month ago, ready for this fight, and you know, they got us there. And then they gave us blue balls.
Yeah, true.
That was the worst. Oh, that was the worst thing, man. I was so mad, but you know, you gotta honor the death of the queen and da da da. But you know, so I'm excited all over again for this weekend's fight, but mainly for the women's card because, to be honest, I haven't been watching any of the promotions of the other fights. I don't feel like they've been doing a great job of it, or maybe I'm just more interested in the women's fight. So I don't know. So yeah. Oh, and then also we'll be having some discount codes for something that'll be coming up. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Or you, yeah. So yeah. So I guess we'll see you next week. And thanks for everyone tuning in. Always joining us on Wednesday, giving great questions in the chat. We always have great questions and opinions, and you know, so we always appreciate that.
You know, this audience is a smart bunch. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Especially when you have lead girls in there, that's all you need, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Esme, your last words, comments, what's going on?
Oh yeah, follow me on Instagram. I mostly post more on Instagram unless it's fight day. I'm on Twitter. Follow me at Fotógrafa de la Gente. But like Nika said, I'm excited. We have some news coming up in the next few days, and we are all excited for Women Crushing It Wednesday. So you guys have to stay tuned.
Yes.
Okay, is Lee teasing you, Gayle? Or is
Yes,
Sandy
he is.
Duncan really?
Yeah, he is. This is not news to me. I'll give Sandy your best.
Okay, that's great. Yes, Riding Yogi, absolutely. Gayle needs to definitely come back, and we will definitely invite her. And she's welcome anytime. This has been a great show, great conversation. Thank you, Long Live Boxing. We love you all. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thank you, Gayle. Thanks to my girls. I appreciate y'all so much, and we will see y'all next Wednesday with some more good stuff. Love you. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.